Hi everyone, Marianne Cowan here from Pinery Paper Crafts. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, and hard to believe this is almost the end of February. And saying that, just a reminder that Celebration ends February 28th. So when you purchase $60 in products, you can choose something from this catalog for free. So don't miss out. Stock up on all those things you know you're going to run out of and be buying next month, and you could have bought it this month and got a free product. Hello, Monique. Hi, Barb. So all this week we've been creating with Simply Succulents and Potted Succulents dies. So this is a bundle, and always when the bundles are first introduced in the catalog, when you purchase the bundle, you do get a 10% discount. So just a reminder about that. And here are the cards that we've made so far. I don't even remember. Oh yeah, this was the very first one we made. And we use that beautiful big die. This one. So it's one big die, and we use that, and then we used our blending brush to add some color on the layer beneath. So we did that for all three cards the first day. So this one was Pool Party in Coastal Cabana. And then for this one, I colored underneath where the flower was in Petal Pink and then Soft Seafoam. And then this one features the ombre paper, which is in Celebration and available as a free product. And we used the cute little pot and some of the succulents. I think that's aloe, but I'm not sure. So those were the first. That was Monday. Then yesterday we did another one with that ombre paper, and then just a little scene with the pots. And then another one using some of the evergreen paper, and again just a little scene with the pots. And then the last one, I colored the outside of the frame. So I used the blending brushes to add some color on top of the die cut, I should say, and then added a bow and a little greeting. And we also used the pearlescent paper, which is in the mini catalog. And it was cool how it turned out. And when I was doing this, I found another technique I was going to do today, but then as I was getting ready for it, I realized something else about that big die that I'll show you. Maybe we'll do that one first. So this big die is almost exactly the size of the front of your card. I'm just going to move these two out of the way. So when I was getting ready, so what I was going to do, I was going to make another stencil and then do another blending brush technique. So I just had this scrap piece of paper of thick Whisper White. So I did my die cutting, and then I realized, hey, wait a minute. Remember those laser cut cards we had not too long ago? And we also at that time had really pretty colors of vellum. And so I thought, that would make a really pretty card front. So it's just die cut out, but you can see how close to the edge it goes. You don't have a lot of wiggle room with this die. So then I went to the Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper, because there's this really pretty one here, and this one would work as well. Anyways, any of these back pages where it's just like the wash, I thought that would look pretty inside. Hey Phyllis. And then we're going to add some other things. So I think the best way to put this on, when I measured it, I can slide it right to this side and still not see any of the edge. So I'm going to put white glue right along here. I think the Stampin' Seal would be a bit too wide. So white glue will be fine. So what I'm going to do is make sure this is right to the back, and then just fold it over. And I'll give it just a second, because with the thick Whisper White, it doesn't fold quite as sharply, I guess I'll say, as the thinner cardstock. All right, that looks pretty. And there, oh, look at the inside. I never even thought of that part. Doesn't look anything like the outside, but it's still pretty. So then I did a greeting. You make the ordinary extraordinary. This is from that same set. Now I remember when I made these cards before, there was the choice, do I want to glue the whole thing down, or do I want it as a layer? And when I was adding the vellum, I liked it as a loose layer, like an expensive card in the store. But for here, I'm going to use dimensionals, so this is going to get stuck to the bottom part. Otherwise, it's really hard to find spots where it's good to put it down. That's pretty skinny. And there's my mistake one. Always. Well, not always, but sometimes. So I'm going to put this down in the right-hand corner. I want to make sure it's flat because when I put this on, it's going to hold the paper as well. So I'm not pressing too hard to make sure that it's straight. I think that's good. Then I have 3 flowers that I colored using the blending brushes. And I want to tell you, when I added the Wink of Stella, it went from Mango Melody Dark to more of this yellowy color. It was quite interesting. And I did do one pale, lighter, one fairly dark, and one kind of medium. So I had already done that, but it definitely did change it to make it more yellowy when I added the Wink of Stella. Now I do want to add a bow, so I colored some of that crinkled seam binding with the Mango Melody blending brush. Hey Shannon. So this is a very elegant card. It would be a really pretty wedding card or anniversary card if you did something like the pearlescent in the back. That would be really pretty. And then use a bunch of the, even though it's succulent, you can't really tell. Then you could use some of the posies, the stitched, the pierced blooms to add some flowers down here. But we're going to add succulents because we're making succulent cards. All right, I'm trying to figure out the best placing because I do want to add a bow. Maybe that one there, and then I can put the bow right up top in the corner. So I think I'll put the bow on first because I know exactly where I have to put it and I don't want it over top of my greeting. So we'll go ahead and add a glue dot and put the bow right there. Now we're going to pop this one up. It's the biggest one. I'm going to just tuck it behind the bow. And then we'll do these 2 little ones. I think I want this one popped and maybe not the last one. So this is a really simple card to make. And I'm going to put this one flat and tuck it behind the other 2. There. You make the ordinary extraordinary. Pretty. I don't know, when I flip this inside it's like a whole different look, but I still like it. Okay, so that's our first card. So maybe tomorrow I will show you the technique I was going to show you today when I figured out this technique. And if this bugs you, you could add a little glue dot in the corner or a little bit of white glue. It doesn't bug me, so I'm just going to leave it. All right, the next one we have Sahara Sand. Then we have Sahara Sand Brick Wall, and I'm going to do a little bit of sponging. And I've also used on this card the window flower box dies. I used the little shelf and a couple of the pots, the bigger ones. This is a really pretty set too that I haven't really played with yet, so I thought I would just pull out the pots. So I'm going to get my Sahara Sand, and for this I'm just going to use a sponge. This one's crumb cake, but it doesn't matter. same color family, same kind of color. So I'm just lightly going over top. And sponging the edges. Actually, that's not really showing up. Let's try crumb cake. I don't want it too dark. I just want to give it a bit of aging look. So I'll go kind of around the edges. I think I need to re-ink some of my ink pads. I have a huge space here. I don't know why I'm always cramped in this little tiny spot in the middle. Oh, there, that works better. So a little more pressure was required. And I'm just kind of giving the bricks a distressed look. And while I have this out, I wanted to do the same thing for the pots. Just around the edges so that they look a little bit distressed. The only thing when you do this, you get ink all over your fingers. Okay, there's the first one. So the pots are actually crumb cake, whereas this is Sahara sand. All right, done with that. Now I do want to add some background to our little white piece because it's a little too white for me. So I have gray granite. And I'm not going to do a blending brush. I'm just going to, I want this really light. Okay, that's probably darker than I wanted, but I just want that part behind the shelf. And then we'll do the blending brush for the sky. It does have a window in it that would have been cute too, but we're just going light here. So just a bit of color to get rid of the whiteness. And now we'll put our card together. So we have our background. I'm trying to remember if I want to do... Then we had our little shelf. That's why I wanted this a different color, because the sky is not going to be below the shelf. Let's go ahead and just glue this down. This set is really fun to play with. Shannon has a bunch of cards on her YouTube channel or Facebook that she made with this set, and they're really cute. All right, so we have that. Let's go ahead and put this stuff together. Trying to remember, oh no, I was trying to remember if I was going to have a bow, but I have little bows for the pots. So this was, did I say I used the brick wall embossing folder to get the brick look? I love that folder. I haven't had it very long. I don't know why I did not have it before. Okay, so I'm going to pop this up using dimensionals. Yes, Wanda, I know what you mean. I have everything in multiples as well. This set is really pretty, Lynn. Actually, both sets. The succulents and the window flower box. So there we have our two little pots. These are the biggest of the pots because these plants are fairly big. I'm just going to trim this one off a little bit. So we're going to have this one in this pot. So I'm going to put a glue dot on. This set is very fun to play with. Like I said, I'm not a big succulents person, but it's fun to create with them and not have to worry about keeping them alive. So there's our first pot. And for our second pot, I just have some of these little ones to put in. Kind of overhang, or maybe just one. I think just one. I do have some of this. Maybe we could put the other one here. I did introduce a little bit of purple onto this card. And I had bows for the pots, but I'm thinking now that that might not work. Maybe just one. All right, so this one, deciding whether I'm going to pop them up or leave them flat. I think I'm leaving them flat. So let's just attach that. I just added a glue dot to the back. So this is what I was thinking, is just putting a little bow there. I still might do that instead of adding all these other things. And then I'll just add one flower here. Again, I'm going to add a glue dot. Put it on my little shelf. And then maybe I'll pop this one up. Let's see if that's going to look good. Because then we can kind of hang it over the front a little bit. All right, and then we can put our bows. I like it. Now I crinkle up the bow because it's really quite small. All right, don't crinkle up the bow. I crinkle up the glue dot just with my fingernail. Just kind of squish it down because the linen thread is quite thin. All right, there we go. I didn't even do a greeting for the next two cards, which is fine. Yeah, I like it. So again, it uses the window flower box dies as well as the potted succulent dies. All right, so that's our second card. And one more. So this one we're using soft seafoam. I don't know, when I think of succulents, I just think of soft seafoam. So this can go ahead on, but I am going to add ribbon. I've embossed using the Subtles embossing folder, a must-have in your stash. It's probably one of my most used embossing folders. It just adds a subtle touch. It's well named, so it just adds a little bit of texture. Next I have my stitched rectangle, scalloped rectangles. They're going to go here. I'm going to put the ribbon around first, but I want to add a little bit of color to this one. Again, I'm just using Pool Party. Really, really light. I just don't want it so stark white. So you just come on with the lightest of touches. And that's it. That took like, what, 5 seconds? Maybe 10. So let's go ahead and glue this onto our vellum to make it soft and pretty. Get this out of the way. Now I'm going to add my vellum. Am I going to add my vellum now? No, this is not vellum, this is ribbon. Yes, but I'm just going to, okay, I'm going to add it and tie the bow, but then I want to make sure I have it where I want in relation to my pot. So, yeah, I'm going to do it this way. Whichever way you tie it, the tails are going to go in that direction. So sometimes I like the tails that aiming this way, and sometimes I like them aiming the other way. Kind of depends on your card design. So that looks good for now, but let's just check with my pot. So this pot is a stamp and a die cut from the set. And I do want this kind of around the pot. Yeah, I think that's good. So in this one, we're just going to build it up again like we did yesterday. So I think I'm going to put 2 of these aloe, I guess. I'm going with aloe, I don't know. Someone here maybe knows. Sometimes I wish they would put the names of the flowers. I know one year they had a flower set that had tons of just different flowers. Everyone was trying to figure out what the names of the flowers were. Hi Sylvia. So now I'm going to add dimensionals, but I want to add some more things. So I do have some string of pearls. these are called, and they're so pretty. And if you're like me, at first, when I first was playing with this set, I had them going like this, up the back, and that is not how they go at all. I think I'll add 2 of them, and I did look, and they're mostly just shades of green. So I'm going to kind of layer them up, and then I'll add a little succulent flower to this. I wonder if we want to go big. No, we don't. I'm going to pop this up with a dimensional, and then I'm going to pop up my pot as well. Just doing this one to the side, because we have the bow over here, so now we have our pot and our succulent. And then I can just use this for anything. I don't have a greeting on here, so it could just be just saying hi. Sometimes your greeting just needs to be on the inside. I did go ahead beforehand and add add Wink of Stella to all the flowers. Hi, Diane. So we're just going to add this, and that will, no, I'm going to put this on first. That will help hold our ribbon down as well. So let's just go ahead and add some dimensionals. I'll put one right where the ribbon is so it doesn't move around. Just making sure it's straight. Sometimes when you look at the back, you can tell if it's straight or not. So that looks good. We had some beautiful snow out here earlier. It was that big, huge snowflakes. But it seems to have stopped now. All right, so now I have my little pot. There. I think that's pretty. I haven't added bling to any of these, but I suppose I could. Not sure what would be nice for that. I wonder if the opal rounds might be pretty. Let's try. Oh, pearls maybe. Let's go basic pearls. I hardly ever use basic pearls. I'm forever coloring them or adding things to them. So I think just a couple of plain pearls. Maybe one down here. All right, so that's that one. I don't know about this one. Let's add some pearls to this one. It'll also help to hold your card down. Now I did find yesterday when I was adding jewels, it's hard to find a spot to add them because it's so busy. But I'm just going to add them here, and I'll add it down here where the sentiment is. There we go. And I think I'm going to leave that one with no jewels. All right, good old basic pearls. All right, so here are our cards for today. Save some of that for tomorrow. So we started out with this one where I did the large die emboss, die cut, die. And it's this, so this is 8.5, the white piece is 8.5 by 5.5. And actually the way I did it is I just happened to have placed this at the edge, and it just happened to be nice and straight. I ran it through, and then I thought, hey, wait a minute, this is just like those cards we used to get. That's when I decided to turn it into a card. It was going to be my stencil, but that will be tomorrow. And then I added the fine art floral paper behind it, and just some little flowers. You could try putting pearls in the middle of the flowers. I don't know if that would look good or not. All right, then we did our little window box, and so these dies, these three, are from Window Flower Box dies. So that's a different set, and then these are from the succulents. there is a pot in the succulents, obviously, because we used it. So the pot in the succulents was so big, I thought it would overpower the shelf. That's why I decided to use littler pots. So this one, again, is just vellum, basic white, and soft seafoam embossed with the Subtles embossing folder. All right, so 3 more cards to add to our collection. We're going to have lots of succulents. For those of you who came late, these are the ones from day 1. So we're using that large die in different ways, just blending behind, blending, adding color to the flower, and then adding ombre paper. And then we did ombre paper again. This is the evergreen paper. And then this one I colored on top of the die cut. And tomorrow I'll show you a different way to use the stencil. I will make another one and actually use it as a stencil. All right, so those are all of our cards for so far this week. So those are our 3 for today. So thank you. Yes, very earthy, you're right. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it if you like or share my video. If you're watching the replay, type in replay. I'd like to know, I'd love to find out who came on later to watch that we didn't get a chance to chat with. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, I do invite you to hit subscribe and the notification bell, and then you will get a notification when I post new videos. All right, thanks again. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday, I'm on at 2 because I have a hair appointment at 3. So Thursday, 2 o'clock. I'll post something in on Facebook to remind you. All right, thanks for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks, Wanda. Yeah, the snow was really coming down here, Monique, and it was so pretty, like big, huge, huge flakes. It stopped now, though, although they said we're supposed to get 8 to 10, so we'll see. All right, see you guys later.